Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. We have a great interview coming up with Uraua Am Tehuti Khamau of Ausar Auset Society. Listen in as he explains all of the spiritual benefits one can gain by joining and becoming a member of Ausar Auset, and also an amazing opportunity to throw down and jam down with them this Friday for their online talent show and jam fundraiser. Take a look.
All right, we are up and running. Well, I am so honored to be sitting down with the one and only, Uraua Am Tehuti Khamau. Thank you so much for coming on and just spending some time with me today, right here. I want to get into it because I think it's important for our community to hear about some real health and wellness initiatives that derive from our ancient ancestors, and you are part of a complete lifestyle and movement that embodies these principles and practices in ways that our community, I believe, has not seen. So thank you again for joining us. Please, let's get into what is Ausar Auset Society all about?
Well, thank you, Triana. It's a pleasure to be here. It's our honor to always be able to share with people like yourself in the progressive community about, the blessing that we've received by being a part of the Ausar Auset Society. So the Ausar Auset Society is the nation's oldest Pan-African spiritual organization, started in 1973, so we're 47 years old, spread out around the country and around the world, and organized around the principles of spirituality that go back to the ancient Black founders of civilization, predominantly Kemet, or so-called ancient Egypt, Indus Kush, or the indigenous civilization, Black civilization of what is now today called India and Pakistan, as well as Canaan and Sumer, and completely reintegrated with our understanding that comes from Yoruba and Akan and so forth. So our society has been under the guidance of Ra Unefer Amen, who as our head has a title of Shechem or Shechem. That's what the ancient Egyptians called their head of state. The pharaoh, or Per-Ah, really means the great house. So it's like today when we say the White House said, but the actual leader of the community or the nation was called the Shechem or Shechem. So we have adapted our traditional African system of government and organization, and we focus our membership and our outreach to the community on getting back into those practices and ways of life that made those civilizations great. And it's all about really understanding who you are, knowledge of self, and how to make that transition from, a Western mindset, a limited mindset, to understanding your divinity and the purpose of life, and how you can adopt a lifestyle that helps you to grow into your highest potential. So that's what Ausar Auset Society is about.
Well, it sounds to me that, really tapping in to the ancient way is a peaceful way. And right now, our folks need a pathway for peace. I know COVID in general is just unprecedented, right? It's we've done some measures that have, surpassed anything that we've really seen in a very long time in terms of a full-on response. And so it's just caused a lot of, concern in the community. We see these disparity numbers, right? Black folks dying at larger numbers in certain areas. And I'm wanting to know specifically from the practices that are done through Ausar Auset, what do you feel is most meaningful and helpful to the people during a time like this?
Well, the first thing that we have to understand is that the greatest challenge to our health, our well-being, and our development is stress. And the wisdom of our ancestors teaches us that there's no such thing as stress inherent in a situation, right? But that stress is actually a response to a situation. And the greatest example of that we're most familiar with in modern times is, you take an athlete that's at the top of their game and performance, you put them in an arena with 40, 50,000 people screaming at them, you put an array of the best talent against them and a clock ticking down, and you expect them to be able to perform, right, without any stress response, because we already know that if they get stressed out, their performance is going to fail. Mm-hmm. So we understand from the perspective of sports and any other performance that there is a capability within us to be able to respond to any kind of challenge without getting stressed out. Mm-hmm. And that stress response is totally against our ability to survive and to perform. Mm-hmm. So in ancient times, the so-called God Amen, which is not a God to be worshipped, but an understanding of a part of our spirit, the highest part of our spirit, we recognize that we are inherently made in the likeness of a peace that nothing can disturb, and that to be able to manifest that peace in the face of all challenges was the most important aspiration of ancient people. It was an understanding that peace is not something that comes from the outside. It's something that you cultivate and you develop from within in your relationship with the Most High. So that's where situations like this, and the thing about our people is that this is just a compounding of all the other things that we've been through and that we're constantly going through, but we haven't learned the most important lesson of our ancient ancestral history, and that is stress is a choice. That you can be involved in any kind of situation and you have the capacity to remain at peace, to remain calm. And that peace and that calmness is not weakness. It's the source of the greatest strength that you have. It's the source of inspiration that will help you to find the answers that you need. And it's the source of the power and the ability to perform under pressure. So that's what our ancient ancestors have left us the understanding of. And that's the major piece that's missing today.
Wow, absolutely. I can't agree with you more. Working in the community for Africatown Community Land Trust, I see our community, we go through so much. There's so much trauma, so much baggage, and there's so many people that are looking for ways to manage it, to deal with it, self-medication, alcoholism. I mean, we can go on and on about the ways that folks, really take on these traumatic experiences and these stressful things that they've deemed stressful. And to just say that to them, that honestly, it's a choice, is already, profound, because I think a lot of what we see in community and in communities across the country, across the spectrum, when you're dealing with, a class system that we really have with capitalism, we see the survival mode, and we talk about folks that are on survival mode all the time. And so I really want to hear from you a message to community in terms of those that are really feeling that they're stuck in survival mode.
Yeah, and survival mode is a great, observation, because we are programmed from our physiological standpoint from the lower parts of our brain. We actually have 4 different parts of the brain. And the lower animal parts of the brain, that, automatic response, survival response, is an adrenaline-based stress response. It's designed to help us to get out of an impending dangerous situation. So if you're being attacked by a wild animal, okay, that's not the time for you to use your higher thinking, okay, let me calculate, in a split second, you have to be able to fight, you have to be able to run, or you have to be able to freeze so that you won't be detected. So your body, your physiology is you have hundreds of thousands of years of genetic programming for you to respond that way. So in a natural environment, those situations are few and far between. And when they're over, they're basically over. And then you can relax and get back to a state of balance. But what's happened to us now is that we have adapted that response that was made for a physical threat to emotional threats, to psychological, to just the thought, just the fear that what if this happened to me? So our bodies are in a constant state of firing this hormonal response of stress, right? Of survival. And that's real. So people say, that's why it's not about just your philosophy or, oh, I can think positively. I can, I have affirmations and stuff like that. This thing is physiological. It's in your body. So if your process of self-training does not involve physical practices, breathing exercises, right? Life force, raw force, what the Chinese call qi. We use qigong systems, exercises to recondition your physiology, along with the understanding of what type of being you are and the choices that you have, and the use of meditation to reprogram your responses, right? Then you're not going to conquer it. You're not going to transcend it. The best thing you can do is try to manage it, and managing stress does not work. So like you mentioned, you self-medicate, oh, let me watch a movie, let me come home and relax, and it's so deeply ingrained in us. When you really start to wake up, you realize sometimes you put the key in the door, you get in the house, you close the door, and what's the first thing you do? You go, oh, I'm glad I'm home.
Yeah.
But that, I'm glad I'm home, shows you that you were holding your breath all day long.
Right.
Right. You were waiting, right? You were waiting to exhale, as they say.
Yes.
So it's a whole series of trainings that you have to go through, to progress yourself to the point where you can start to get a handle on this, this survival mechanism that's real, that's part of us. But, in our evolution as divine beings, not human beings, the divine plan was that we would learn about, have self-knowledge, and regain the skill of reprogramming those responses appropriately.
Well spoken. I mean, honestly, I think that a lot of folks, some of these ideas are so foreign for folks because, they've been stuck in, well, hey, that's, it's just things coming down on me and not really something I can control. And so to flip it around and let them know they can control parts of that through the proper work is really important. Now, one of the things that I want to get into, because, as we talk about our ancient folks, our ancient people, our ancestors, the ways of them, one of the biggest things that I love and have learned about our ancient people and the way that we were in built societies where we were so communal, right? I know that Ausar Auset gathers every week. You guys have buildings, and everybody that is participating, that is a member, they are gathering together. And so you guys have had to make adjustments during COVID, just like everyone else. What is that looking like as for the organization as a whole?
Well, it's great, because we understand that we're together in the spirit from the beginning. And, with the use of technology, like what we're doing right now, we're actually able to still come together to do our meditations and our classes and things like that, using the technology that's available. So it really, it just continues. The work continues on. And as a lot of people have recognized, this change that we're experiencing now will have permanent effects on society. Right? It's forced people to embrace technology. It's forced people to look at things. And one of the benefits of technology is that we're actually able to come together over any distances. We're able to come together, without having to travel, without having to expend, so it actually gives us some advantages to reach across, states and even continents and continue the work that we're doing. So I see in the future that this whole situation that we're in is going to enable people to understand the value of what we've been teaching all these years and be able to access it and work on it. And that's why we're so excited about the online Osirian initiation program. It's been going on for several years. A lot of people just aren't aware of it. You know, that you can get a monthly curriculum of spiritual work, you know, instruction, journaling assignments, in-depth insight into the crafting of meditation scripts, and the use of, you know, breathing techniques, musical tones, right, to stimulate certain brain functions, right, and a guided meditation by, you know, clearly one of the greatest spiritual masters of our time, accessible at your convenience. So, you know, this has been around for years, but a lot of people have slept it, and now I think people are going to wake up to the fact that what they may have been doing in their life is not really getting it, and they need something deeper. And we have it here. It's proven. It's saved the lives of thousands of people. It's saved marriages. It's transformed people's lives, and we're just so happy to share it, because anyone that's been in Ausar Auset for a number of years has received so much benefit that you just, you know, it's just bubbling out of you. You know, the problem is a lot of people's mindset is not just ready for it because they've been conditioned against it. And that's the thing as Black people we have to realize, is that, you know, global white supremacy, which is a reality, you know, has so conditioned us against what is our own, that, you know, it takes something to break through. I went to the University of Pennsylvania, and I was a business student, and I had some elective time, and the University of Pennsylvania has a museum with an ancient Egyptian exhibit that's decades old. So I said, oh, I want to check out ancient Egypt. This is before my full awakening to myself. And I was looking through the African Studies catalog, and I couldn't find any classes on Egypt. So I asked the bursar, or whoever it was, I said, I don't see ancient Egypt. She said, oh, no, that's in the Oriental Studies department.
Wow.
I said, when did Egypt move to the Orient?
Wow.
You know, I'm like 20 years old. I'm like, when, you know, but that just shows you at the highest level of academics how deeply ingrained this European superiority and this movement to keep us away from our heritage was, and is at every facet of society. So we have to break through that and understand who we are now.
Right. I mean, and that's really what I think, if nothing more, something like this pandemic and what COVID has done is really making folks think differently. And I think you're so right, spot on there. You know, folks are looking for a different way. You know, what can I do right now? What can I do at home? Maybe more than what I was taught before, or more than what I'm used to. How do I, you know, help my family, right? Stay healthy. I think a lot of people are thinking about health and wellness right now. So I'm so glad that we're able to get you as part of our Black Health and Wellness Initiative. I mean, we want our people to be healthy through all of their faculties, right? Mental, physical, spiritual. We want our people in our community to be healthy. Well, before we get out of here, let's get to some fun stuff as well. Like, I mean, you guys are you know, I asked the question earlier about technology, but I know that Ausar said you guys have been using this technology for a while. You guys are already broadcasting across the nation, and coordinating an effort every week and getting people on and making sure people are getting the information. So you guys really have been using technology, and I'm excited to hear about a new technological venture you guys are doing with this web jams. What is going on with this party, online virtual party? This is exciting.
Yeah, one of the great things about our society is as focused as we are on our spirituality, we understand that, you know, as we say, you know, there's many different powers on the tree. And one of the things that has enabled our people to survive where no others have been able to is that, we have this, we know how to party, I mean, we know how to enjoy ourselves, we know how to generate that inner joy. And so, yeah, we have a fundraiser that's going on right now. Actually, it's going to be on May 1st, and it's a talent show, okay? All talent, music, spoken word, that is all around the atmosphere of African culture, spirituality, so-called New Age, health, understanding, that kind of environment, to give our members and friends an opportunity to really showcase themselves and for us to have a good time. And that's going to be online. And then after that, we're having, we say instead of shelter in place, you can party in place. So we're going to have, so we're going to have a huge Zoom throwdown party online. It's going to feature multiple rooms with DJs with different genres. We're going to have a soca DJ. We're going to have a old school hip hop DJ. We're going to have an Afrobeat DJ. We're going to have games so people be able to go into different rooms, on the platform. Like you go to a club and you go into different floors and experience, music and culture and just have a good time, and come together. So, yeah, I invite everybody out there in Seattle and everybody that's listening to us, to participate. It is a fundraiser because our headquarters, of course, has had to, curtail activities because of the situation, especially being in New York is one of the hardest hit areas, so it's an opportunity for us to come together, and raise some money and have a great time together and get to know each other. So yeah, that's going to be on May 1st from 8 p.m. till we I don't know, it might be
I like that. Just until. Yeah, there we
have a lot. We've been doing a lot of qigong, so we have a lot of life force. So we know how to party too.
There we go. Well, thank you so much once again, Uraua. This has been amazing. I can't tell you enough how excited I was to finally be able to sit down with you. Thank you again. I know that we'll be seeing much more of each other as time goes on, because I'll be there. I'll be on one of the jam rooms, making sure I get my gym on too.
Have your sunglasses ready or your mask, And we do have a gift. We do have a very special gift for all of your viewers and your listeners. A very on-time gift. And what it is it's a self-study course with guided meditation about how to transcend stress. It's 100% free. It's put together by our teacher, our master teacher, Shekma Ram Eframen. It's about 70-something PowerPoint slides. Right, so it's extensive, it's amazing, and it gives you all the tools you need to fully understand the stress response and how to craft your response and how to practice, the meditation that will help you to actually transcend stress. So this is just another one of his gifts to the world. It's free, it's available, so I'm sure you'll have the link to share with your audience. And I just encourage everybody to get deeply into that, because yes, you do not have to stress out over this, and our survival, our immune response depends on our ability to transcend stress.
Oh, thank you again. I mean, that is what the people need to hear right now. We have the power to really do something about all that we're experiencing right now. We have that power. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Take care.
You too.
Peace and love.
Peace.
Well, there you have it from Uraua Am Tehuti Khamau himself. It is great to understand and know that there is a way for us to be balanced on the inside and the outside. If you are wanting more information on the Seattle HESP that is growing here, please reach out to herutchayezamen@gmail.com. That is Herutchayezamen@gmail.com. I hope you enjoyed that spiritual lesson, and we hope to give you more in the future. Thanks for watching.